All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday, June 13th. We got an 11 game MLB slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, we're going to go through each and every one of these games. I'm going to give you my lean on the side. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye on the pinned comment. That is where all of my final plays will live, so what I'm actually betting and rolling with myself. If you do want to fade me or if you want to ride with me, those plays will be in the pinned comment. And you know, I had 2 days off because of vacation and travel, right? Tell me this recap of last night doesn't look like a gambler that was just jonesing to get back in the action. We had 12 plays. We hit 6 of them, so that's a 50-50 win rate. But the ones that we hit, like the Nationals plus 118 on the money line, and then the Cubs plus 100, and one of our losses was actually just a half-unit loss for Framber Valdez. We come out in the green about that much, but I looked at this I was placing these, and I'm like, holy crap, you got 12 bets tonight, you lunatic. But nonetheless, you know what? Make a little bit of green there, but that's what you get when you know you love this stuff, and all of a sudden you're down out for like 2 days, right? But nonetheless, guys, 12 plays last night. Hopefully, if you guys rode with it, you rode with the winners, and if you faded anything, you faded the losses. But we go 6-6 last night, but a little bit of profit because of our unit management as well as hitting 2+ money plays within there. But I chuckled when I saw that. Unfortunately, our ride of the day comes this close to cashing, but it does not. Carne Asada here, Javier Assad, over 4.5 strikeouts. He ended with 4 strikeouts. So Nick, good try. I did like the spot. You know, the Cubs ended up winning. That's what we liked as well, so kind of correlated here, but unfortunately, Assad does not come through for us. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, all you got to use is that hashtag ride of the day, and I jump on board with one person's pick and give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. So just use that hashtag ride of the day in the comments with an absolute banger of a play, and if you win, we continue to ride with your play. So get those in the comments there. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into today's slate. Make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button, hitting that like button as well. I mean, I can't believe that we're nearing, 80,000 subscribers. That is absolutely preposterous to me. The fact that, when me and Tassos are talking, we're like, holy crap, like, we could hit 100,000 subscribers soon. My goal for, this year was 75,000. I have it written down, and it's like, well, come and gone there, you know what I mean? So you guys have been absolutely electric in terms of the support. So I do mean that when I say thank you. So appreciate that. And if you are new, hit that subscribe button, join the community, hit the like button as well. But let's jump into game number 1 here. We got the Orioles taking on the Braves. On the mound for the Orioles today, it's going to be Cole Irvin. He's got 2.87 ERA on the season here. Going up against Ronaldo Lopez, 1.85 ERA on the season. So far in this series, Baltimore has had the, I guess you could say, the upper hand here. They win 4-0 in game number 1 and win 4-2 yesterday. Cade Povich, actually pitching, decent. I think he went at 6 innings, excuse me. In this spot, I know that, this is a sweep and it's hard to sweep a team and whatnot, but I don't really see anything that jumps out to me as, hey, bet the Braves here. The odds aren't even that great. Like yesterday, I leaned towards the Braves, didn't make it a final play, but that's because you were getting the Braves at plus 120, right? Today, they're around even odds, in some cases minus 105, so not all that tempting. And I think you're getting a way better Orioles team, for decent odds here. Minus 118. Let me see if that's still the updated. Minus 112 now on FanDuel. So I do admit that, a sweep is hard to do in the MLB, but I'm still going to lean towards the Orioles on the money line here. Going up against a right-handed pitcher, they hit righties really, really well. I think that they have a capable pitcher on the mound as well in Irvin. Both these bullpens in a similar spot in terms of skill and fatigue. And then what I like is Ronaldo Lopez throws 64% fastballs. Baltimore 4th in the league when it comes to runs above average per 100 fastballs they see. So I love to see that as well. In terms of the total, I'm going to lean over. We haven't really seen many, high-scoring games in this series so far, but I do think that this could be a spot in which, the Orioles put up their half of 5, and then hopefully the Braves kind of come to fight, because in 2 games now, they've scored 2 runs, so hopefully they can put up a few as well, but I'm much more inclined to taking Baltimore on the money line. And then one player prop that I don't mind, just because I do think that there's some value in this. He's hit the under in 9 of his last 10 games. He's hit the under in 77% of games. On the road this year, he's hit the under in 81% of games. Against a left-handed pitcher on the road, he's hit the under in 70% of games. We're looking at Adam Duvall here, under 1.5 bases. Yes, king of bases, reporting for duty. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if any of these plays do turn into final plays for us here. Next up, we have Detroit taking on Washington. One of our wins from yesterday, taking Washington for the plus money. In this spot, I do think the Tigers are probably the move, just because I feel like we've been able to fade Patrick Corbin this season, who he's not having the best of years. Definitely not on the road either, but it really doesn't matter if he's at home or on the road. Like, the dude just isn't having the best of seasons. Casey Mize on the mound for Detroit, who also has some starts here that really haven't gone according to plan, but he's been a little bit better at home this year, which obviously they're at home here in this spot. So I'm going to lean Detroit, but minus 155, like, I would only play this if we got it in the minus 140s, and then even still, I'd have to think long and hard about it. So we'll see where the line comes out on this one as the day progresses. But I'm going to lean towards Detroit just because I'm kind of fading the pitching over there. In terms of a total, I don't mind taking a peek at the under. I don't think either one of these teams are going to put up a bunch of runs today. We've seen kind of high scoring so far in this series, 5-4 and then 7-5. But nonetheless, like today, I feel like this could be another 5-4 game at maximum. Whereas maybe Casey Mize does have a good little outing against this Washington team, and it's kind of scary taking an under when you have Patrick Corbin on the mound too, who I really just don't like the pitcher. So I will lean towards the under, but I don't know if I play that because I think Corbin could kind of screw us there. But Detroit on the money line, I don't mind that whatsoever. We did have a few. I don't have any player props today, but we did have a couple bases props. And, king of the bases here checked out on that one. We had Vierling, who hit a home run, and then I think it was Kana, right? He hit 2 hits, so the under 1.5 bases for both those guys in the game did not come through. So we didn't profit on this game yesterday. We did have the one play Washington money line, but those 2 bases props kind of kicked us in the you-know-what. But nonetheless here, lean in Detroit, and then potentially leaning towards the under 9. All right, next up, we got Kansas City taking on the Yankees here. This is one that we almost pulled the trigger on yesterday, but almost doesn't really count, right? They end up winning 11-5. I like the Yankees, but I don't know if I like the minus 150 odds. Today, they're minus 162 as Cortez is on the mound taking on Alec Marsh. I actually do like Alec Marsh, but this Yankees offense is a different beast, right? So I think I still do lean towards the Yankees. I almost say reluctantly, but also not reluctantly at the same time. Like, good team, obviously. They've been scoring a bunch of runs these last couple games. I don't know what they had in game number 1 of the series, maybe like 4 or 5, I believe. But last 2 games, averaging 10.5 runs per game. So I guess you also lean towards the over in this spot as well, because how can you not when the Yankees are nearly covering that line themselves? So trying not to overthink this one. I like the Yankees as well as a slight lean towards the over. From a player prop perspective here, I like Anthony Rizzo under 1.5 bases. If we jump into the outlier screen, by the way, guys, go check out Outlier. I'm telling you. That link is in the pinned comment. My favorite player prop research tool out there. You can see his last 10 games, he's only gone over in 2, but in 5 straight, he stayed under the mark here. Going up against a right-handed pitcher in Marsh. He has 3 plate appearances against Marsh, yet to get a hit off of him, which we like to see, but that's only 3 plate appearances. But against right-handed pitchers, you do see that his average jumps from 221 to 231. Don't necessarily love that. Same thing with his extra base hit and his ISO slugging, or his ISO power, right? So, okay, that's all bad, but what I really like to see is Alec Marsh against left-handed batters. His ERA drops nearly in half. Batting average against drops sub 200. Slugging drops to sub 300, and then his extra base hit percentage against also drops. So we love to see that. And then when we look at what Rizzo's been doing here, so WOBA 274, K percentage 16.7 on the season. Fastball, his K percentage, you can see fastball right here, right? Drops to, or goes up for his K percentage to 19.5. The WOBA does increase a little bit, but still not all that much. But slider, which is going to be the next pitch, everything, K percentage goes up, WOBA drops down, which is good to see. Same thing with the curve. The sinker, we're going to get that 12% of the time, and then the change. So more often than not, I'm looking at this WOBA number. Out of the 5 pitches, 3 of those 5, he hits more poorly than he does well. So I think this could be a good spot. And, we're getting decent odds there, minus 140 DraftKings. You can see that Caesars actually has it at minus 145. So we'll see where other books come out to. But Anthony Rizzo under 1.5 bases could be a decent look for today as well. I feel like I just rattled off a bunch like going through that, but that's how great the Outlier screen is, guys. So go ahead and check it out. That link is in the pinned comment. You get 7 days free of this tool, and you won't want to look back. Even after the 7 days, it's not like a gotcha thing, right? It's $19.99 a month, which is under $20, which I'm sure you're spending $20 even more poorly throughout the month, right? And what I like about it is that you're getting so much information for what they probably could be charging a lot more for. They have a pro version that I believe is around $80 a month as well, where you're getting arbitrage plays, EV plays, that type of thing. So consider that if you want as well. But yeah, if you just want the simple player prop and game tool, $20 a month seems like it's well worth it to me. Anyone that's tried Outlier knows what I'm talking about. So go ahead and check it out, guys. That link, again, is in the pinned comment. It's also in the description if you do want to find it. No code needed. Just use the link. It'll get you that discount and that free trial for a week. All right, St. Louis taking on Pittsburgh. This is a pick'em here in this spot. So far, the series is split. Pittsburgh wins game number 1, 2-1, and then St. Louis, on the back of Sonny Gray, wins 4-2 yesterday. Today on the mound, we have Lance Lynn for St. Louis, which obviously has his good spots and everything like that, but for a couple years now, we've said you can't spell Lance Lynn without 2 capital L's. Going up against Mitch Keller, who, is having, I don't want to say an up and down, because it's been fairly consistent. The last 3 starts, or actually, probably you could say last 5 starts, right? He's been absolutely crushing it. And whereas Lance Lynn has not exactly been crushing, he's been kind of up and down. He has some really, really good quality starts in there. But even like last start, right, against Colorado, 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, no home runs. Yet he had 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 23 pitches per inning. Like if he does that again, I don't care if the Pittsburgh offense is kind of like, man, like I think that they can get to him. Whereas Mitch Keller has a .8 ERA in his last 5 starts. He does let guys on base to some degree, but he's getting out of the jams here. And what I like about him, really good against left-handed hitters, and there's either 5 or 6. More of the lineup is a lefty when it comes to the St. Louis lineup. So I'm going to lean towards Pittsburgh, but this is a pick'em, guys. Minus 110 for both teams right now in terms of odds. So obviously there's going to be an argument that can be made to get to St. Louis. I just don't have that today overall. We're going to see a lot of cutters from Lance Lynn as well. Pittsburgh, 4th best in the league when it comes to runs above average for batting against cutters. The fastballs are kind of middle of the pack as well. So I just think that it could be a good spot for their offense to score some runs. But it's not like we've seen a bunch of runs in this series at all. But give me Pittsburgh here on the money line. And I'll also lean towards the under. Like I said, not many runs have been coming in. I just hope that Lynn and Keller have days where they can almost, say, hey, one of our good starts, right? Because like I said, they both have these blow-up-esque starts, but Keller's been a little bit more dialed as of late. So give me the Pirates in this spot, as well as a slight lean towards the under. In terms of player props here, nothing really jumping off the page to me. But like I said, I do like the under, so I could kind of get behind some of these bases props. Maybe Andrew McCutchen under 1.5 bases, Paul Goldschmidt under 1.5 bases. So keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if we roll with any player props here, because when I think there's going to be a low-scoring game, which we've seen in this series so far, right? Again, 2-1, 4-2, like that means not a lot of guys are getting on base. Not a lot of guys are scoring. So under 1.5 bases plays could be a nice little spot. All right, next we have Tampa Bay taking on the Cubs. Cubs being one of our hits yesterday, which we love to see. Today we got Taj Bradley on the mound going up against Justin Steele. Both these offenses, I don't really know where to peg them. So far in this series, we've seen a 5-2 win for Tampa Bay and then a 4-3 win for Chicago. I do think that, Taj Bradley's been very, very good at home, even though his ERA on the season wouldn't really indicate it. But Justin Steele has also been pretty damn good on the road. So I think my main lean here may just go right to the under in a potential spot for a nerfy as well. But overall, I think I'm going to lean towards the Cubs in this spot, backing Justin Steele. But I can definitely see an argument being made for Tampa Bay. But Cubs here, probably going to be my lean. Minus 115 on Caesars right now, not all that bad. But overall, I think I like the under a little bit more than what we're looking at in terms of a money line play. All right, Red Sox taking on the Phillies. This is probably a spot in which I don't mind taking a peek at the Phillies. I think you're getting a really good team for minus 115 odds. Aaron Nola on the mound today. And the Phillies, I mean, they were leading that game, got off to a big lead, and then the Red Sox stormed back and win 8-6. So maybe the Phillies have a little bit of fire under their ass. And yes, an 8-6 final. I had the under in that game, so way to go, Ev. We got that one. But nonetheless, I think it's probably a bounce back spot for the Phillies overall. Like if you were to tell me that the Phillies take 2 of 3 against the Red Sox, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. And the Red Sox have the Yankees on deck. They play them tomorrow, so it may be kind of a look-ahead spot. I know that's a little bit more of a basketball thing, but I do think the Red Sox, obviously their biggest rival, I guess, historic rival are, coming, or I don't know. I think they're at home, so coming to Boston. So maybe they look ahead to that. I think it's a good spot for the Phils. Obviously, a decent offense. But what I will say, if you're making an argument for Boston, Tanner Houck's on the mound. The dude has been phenomenal. But Aaron Nola's been good, too. So I don't want to sit here and be like, well, Houck's pitching. Obviously, Nola's pitching and Houck's pitching. The Phillies are going to stink. Like, I mean, it's not really what I'm trying to say here is Aaron Nola should be sufficient enough to be able to keep the Phillies in this based on the Red Sox bats. But if you are making an argument for the Red Sox, it should be pitching all day long. They have the better bullpen as well as the better starter. But I'm just hoping that the Phillies can offensively kind of take this one. I guess in terms of a total, it's not really something I'm willing to play, but because I do believe in both these pitchers, but I'll lean towards the over just because, the way that I want the Phillies to win is to be able to get to Tanner Houck. I'm a Red Sox fan. I don't really want that, but betting-wise, I would want that there. In terms of a player prop, if we jump right back into the outlier screen, I like Kyle Schwarber under 1.5 bases. Now, yes, he's had 10 bases and, or combined 11 bases in his last 3 games here. But look at this. Up against a right-handed pitcher, he bats 183. His batting average balls in play is 209. Extra base hit percentage, definitely high, so that's kind of worrisome. But Tanner Houck against left-handed batters, amazing. 0.95 ERA. Batting average against 195. Slugging below 240. Extra base hit percent at 20.6. The slider is his number 1 pitch. Looks like Schwarber strikes out a lot against that, and his WOBA is not all that high. The sinker being the next one, okay, well, that's where Schwarber could get him. But the splitter coming clutch here too. His WOBA is less than his season average. So I think this could be a nice little spot for Tanner Houck. Maybe Schwarber does get a hit, but that's what I love about these under 1.5 bases. If it's a double, yeah, then we're screwed. But if he gets 1 hit and it's a single, he still needs to get another hit to cash that. So he'd have to have a 2-hit game. But yeah, give me the under in that spot as well. All right, Mets taking on the Marlins here. Severino on the mound going up against Roddery Munoz, a.k.a. Frankie Muniz. This is probably a Mets play. I mean, I just can't find the value in Miami, even though, they're plus 170. But to me, it's like this is a spot in which I believe makes sense why the line is where it is. I don't think that I'm going to be touching it, to be completely honest, but maybe the Mets are a parlay throw-in or something like that. I'd also lean towards the over. The Mets just scored 10 runs yesterday, and I don't see any reason why, they couldn't get to Munoz today, so I'll lean towards the over as well. But again, this is probably one that, it's like, well, the Mets would have to be in parlay some way, shape, or form. Like, no way anybody is going to be out there throwing a minus 205 play in single, right? So maybe with the game that we're about to talk about too, Chicago and Seattle, maybe there's some sort of a money line parlay that we can do, but give me the Mets and the over. I honestly didn't spend too much time on this game because I don't like it all that much. I guess this is in a similar boat too, honestly. So maybe Mets Twins, money line parlay. I was thinking Seattle because they're taking on the White Sox, but this could also be another one where, I guess we're closing out the show. Like, look at the odds coming up, right? We have some spots with huge home favorites. But nonetheless, guys, this spot I do think is a good Minnesota spot. But again, the odds just aren't there. But I could see a spot where we can consider Minnesota minus the 1.5 on the run line. They've won 3 of their last 4. They have Ryan on the mound today, who obviously is a good pitcher, and he's been kind of phenomenal at home this season. Going up against Luis Medina, who really, his one redeeming quality is that he's pitched okay on the road, which, okay, well, credit to him today. He's on the road. I get that, but honestly, I don't really see any reason why this isn't a Minnesota play, other than the fact that you're paying minus 245. But this is one where I consider, maybe I could consider a first 5 run line or a full game run line to kind of get those odds into a more consumable spot here. When it comes to a total, I'll take the under because I think that Joe Ryan has a chance of not necessarily, I shouldn't say shut down this Oakland team, but, between them, their offense, and Ryan's pitching, this could be like a 4-3 win or even a 5-3 with a push or a 5-2 type of a spot for Minnesota. One player prop that I really don't mind is going to be Manuel Margot here, under 0.5 strikeouts for plus 100 odds over on BetMGM. He's had, he didn't strike out in 6 straight games. On the season, he's hit the under in 60%, which we love to see. But what I'm really looking at here is the fact that Luis Medina here, his K percentage against right-handed batters is only 15.4. Even his K percentage, on the season is 15.6. He throws 44, almost 45% fastballs. Well, Margot's K percentage drops down to 10%. So I like this spot. He also hits fastballs well. So for plus money, just don't go out there and strike out Margot because I think this could be a good spot for it. So Manuel Margot under 0.5 strikeouts in this spot as well. Definitely a chance of being a final play. All right, Mariners taking on the White Sox. I think that this is a very, very good spot for a nerfy today. You have Luis Castillo on the mound for the Mariners going up against Garrett Crochet for the White Sox. And that play being one of the ones that hit for us yesterday, I think we can run it right back. I like both, probably the Mariners on the money line as well as the under, but I do think my favorite play in this spot is going to be the nerfy, which if you don't know what that is, it's no runs first inning. That's a baseball bet, no runs first inning, or yes runs first inning, which would be the Yerfy. We're going with the nerfy here, NRFI. It also is on some books as the first inning total under 0.5 runs. So I think it's a good spot for it. In terms of what we're looking at for a money line play, like I said, Seattle's probably the move. And then I just like the under because I think you do actually have two decent pitchers on the mound here. Crochet, I think he's been very, very good, but I'm almost fading the offenses a little bit more. Even yesterday, we had, Miller and Cannon on the mound. Both those guys went 7 innings, right? So credit to them. It was a 2-1 game, so I could see this being a low-scoring game yet again. If I had to rank it, and 6.5 is a low total, so probably keeps it off the final play, but I have to rank my favorite play in this game. Like I said, it is the nerfy. In terms of player props here, I don't necessarily, like a few unders crossed my plate, I guess, but I don't necessarily love much. Like Julio Rodriguez under 1.5 strikeouts, Nicky Lopez under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I look at that one just due to the fact that, this is a spot for what I think few runs being scored, so it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, that Julio Rodriguez one could be a play under 1.5 strikeouts, so strikeout just less than twice for -110 odds. Definitely something that I'm considering here in this spot, but keep an eye on the pinned comment if you do want to see any other plays, but I can almost guarantee you the nerfy will be in there. All right, Arizona taking on LA, the Angels. I do think this is a spot, and the reason why we're looking at the odds is just because Griffin Canning has been struggling. I mean, he's kind of hit or miss in his last few starts here. His last 5 look better than, I guess you could say, his season. So ERA last 5 is in the 2s, but he's nearly a 5 ERA so far on the season overall. Brandon Pfaadt on the mound today, which is another guy that I feel like I have trouble trusting, in all honesty. His last few starts have not been very good at all, so this is probably a spot, and I don't know if I'm going to have the cojones to pull the trigger myself, but for +160 could be a spot for me to kind of eye the Angels here in this spot. It's just a matter of Griffin Canning being the guy that we're backing seems a little worrisome, you know what I mean? So I am going to lean that way just because I can't really get to the Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals, the Diamondbacks here in this spot, especially for that price tag. But again, if you are on Arizona, they're -180 favorites for a reason. Like, I understand it. I'm just saying the value that I think you have here is for +155. There's a little bit more of a chance than what the odds are saying that I think the Angels could pull this one out. So that is going to be the direction I lean in here. The Angels won dominantly yesterday too, right? 8-3. So maybe that's a spot in which they build a little bit of momentum and do it again. Total wise, this is 8.5. I honestly do see like a 5-3 win, if anything, maximum. I want to say for the Angels, but either side, one of these pitchers probably ends up pitching a little bit better than they have been pitching. So I'm going to lean towards the under because neither one of these bats really are scaring me at all, even though we've seen some high scoring games in the series. I think those are both kind of like obscurities, and if these two teams just do what they've been doing, I think that we see an under here today. But like I said, we're closing it out with like 3 or 4 games here that are kind of priced out from a money line perspective, and just overall not my favorite. So hopefully you guys can get that in my voice. But got to talk about them. We love talking sports. We're gonna do it. All right, Dodgers, Texas. If you guys made it to this point in the video, go ahead and comment 23, letting me know that you made it this far all the way to the end of the video. I know I said at the beginning of the video and everything like that, but I'm so damn appreciative of the position you guys have put me in. I'm just the dummy with the microphone and the camera. You guys are the ones that come to play every single day, commenting and growing this community and really making it into what it is. So I appreciate the hell out of everyone there. If you want to support even further, consider picking up some merch. We have the Gambler line over on fademe.store, fademe.store. Go check it out. We also have our Discord. That link is in the description at somewhere. We have like 7,500 people in there. It's completely free, talking about sports every single day. Just go ahead and interact with us. I can't believe that, we've grown this channel to where it is, and I'm not stopping or getting content here, but appreciate the hell out of everyone. So, you know what? I just got to stop and smell the roses sometimes. But nonetheless, we got the Dodgers taking on Texas. Why didn't I listen to my own advice? I said that for that money yesterday, it could be a good spot for Texas. Now, I wanted to back John Gray. That wouldn't have been the case yesterday, but they still do win 3-2. This spot, obviously, you have a massive, I guess, outpricing of, the Dodgers. They're minus 205. I think Ryan Yarbaugh's on the mound or Michael Grove. I've seen it either way. Looks like, yeah, so Ryan Yarbaugh's listed to be the primary. So, whatever that's worth. I still don't think that, LA, the odds kind of suit what's going on here. So I'll lean towards the Rangers again with Michael Lorenzen on the mound. But overall, this is probably a game that's kind of priced down. I also don't have many player props in this spot that I like either. So kind of a dud to end it on. One thing that I could see this being is a final play of under 8.5. We saw a very close, low-scoring game yesterday. Maybe they do something like that again today. But yeah, I'll lean towards Texas just because you're getting a really nice price tag behind them. And they won yesterday. So that's that. But I like the under here as well. But guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Hope you guys did enjoy. Like I said at the beginning, if you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. And we'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.